Now, dogs are a big part of our life, and when we're travelling, a big part of that is keeping them safe and happy and comfortable as well. That's what I'm doing this morning. I'm on my way down to the next trapping program, and we've just pulled up here in Warwick, beautiful Warwick, and we've got the dogs out for a swim. I've just pulled up here in Tenterfield, great old town, a lot of history in it. And I was reflecting on some of the times years ago when we were catching fallow deer down this way with the chopper. We used to land outside of the meatworks outside of town here. And yeah, a lot of stories to tell about that. Anyway, I was just sitting there, getting a cup of coffee brewed up. And a young fellow by the name of Brett Dowd rocked in. He watches all our clips, and just a shout out to you, mate. You're going out trapping foxes. It's a job that's got to be done. Good work, you and your mates. Keep at it, and thank you for your support, eh? Right, from here I've got another couple of hours to go, so I've just grabbed a bowl of Judy's venison mince, eaten cold, and a cuppa, and we'll get on the road again. I'm nearly down to the next property to start on our next trap line. I drove through from Mount Perry back to home there last night. Managed to catch up with Judy for an hour or two, pat the deer, pat the dogs, get some more groceries, and back on the road. So here we are, another 6 hours down the road. This is one of my favourite properties to trap. They're great people, it's a great team, and I reckon they're seeing a lot of dog tracks, so I'm hoping, fingers crossed, we're going to get a good tally this time. You might remember we were back here in June, and we had a pack go past the camera, and before we got a chance to have a smack at them, the next door neighbour actually shot two worrying his cattle, and the rest of the pack, skedaddled, so we never really got a smack at them. Now, maybe those couple of pregnant bitches we saw in that pack, maybe they've had a litter each, and this is what they're seeing at the moment. So anyway, time will tell. Let's get down here and get ready and get into this, because I think it's going to be a great trap line. Thank you all for your support. We really appreciate it. And if you can, like, share, subscribe, all that stuff would be great. If you can get across to Patreon, I know you've got to sign up to it, but it's a tough game, this one here. I can really only afford to either do the trapping or the filming. It's very hard to do both of them with what I make out of trapping. So what we do make out of ad revenue keeps us alive, but if we could get more people to go across to Patreon, I'd put more clips across there, ad-free. And yeah, if you can buy us a coffee or buy Brandon a bone, fantastic. If you can't afford to, I understand that with some of our people watching are old pensioners and people down on their luck. Well, look, we're just happy to have you on board, right? So yeah, anyway, let's go and trap some dogs. Righto, we're on the road. We're heading right out to the northern part of this property, and I'll start there and work my way back. I'm expecting big things. Okay, we've come right over to the furthest northern side of this property, the northern division, and rolling into the homestead here now, just looking for a sign. I reckon they saw 6 dogs together here just last week, so there'll be a good chance to maybe pick up a pack here. A lot harder scenario this time than when we were here last time, because the crops have all grown up. And Dingo's only got to walk a little bit to one side and he's just simply disappeared. We're rolling down into this flat by the duck hole. Let's see what sign is here in this dust. I expected there to be a lot of sign here, but it could be a little bit, but gee whiz. It's a sort of soil that will hold a track real easy, but nothing. Here was me thinking that this would be the ultimate spot to have some tracks. And really there's nothing. Righto. Doesn't mean they won't come back here tomorrow. I think we'll go and set up on this far end. This is a great place here to find a track. Birds, aha. One track. A few days ago, but at least it's a pinch point. There's been a dog through here. Okay, I got down here by the creek, not far away from the river. There's been an old feed trough here and a feed bin. Straight away, I've got tracks. So I want to create a place where if a dog comes along here, he will come into a centre point to have a look. And the best way to do that is to get my dog's scent everywhere here. So there'll be smell everywhere here of the dogs running around, and any dog that comes along this creek line should come down to this one point and check this out, and this is where I'll have the traps. Okay, I reckon this is a good spot. Okay, so we've got to compete with cattle and we've got to get the dogs to find this spot. So yeah, for me, the best thing is to have the dogs out here and the dogs looking around, putting scent everywhere. And those dogs, they should come into here. Let's put 3 traps here, I reckon. Right, this first trap I've put in here, I was looking for what I could tie it down to or stake it down to. And as I was digging it out there, there's a tree root that's like been broken off and whatever, probably a little regrowth that's been broken off here by the floods. And it's as solid as a rock, so I've just put a double loop around it with my cable and put the excess cable in under the trap itself, and the chain, tuck the chain in there as well, and that'll settle in there really nice. I'll put the urine up against the side of the tree there, and that's just like a place where they'll just walk around to sniff that. Trap number 2 I'm going to put here right where Mossy marked. For some reason she marked there, right out in the open. But I'll put one here, and I'll have to try and get a drag to put there because you wouldn't be able to screw it down on here. But that'll be number 2. So there's the bitch's urine. But just so if a dog comes in here, you can walk around that side of the log to sniff that. It's a pretty basic place where they put their foot. I might put something else like this little stick over here, just there, and that should steer that dog in there, around and through here. And this one, well, it's got a good clump of trees here, branch here, hopefully to keep a growing cattle beast away. I think I'll put it in under here, and I'll put a squeaker up in that little hollow. Put a squeaker there, and probably a little bit of rancid fat or something here just to make them think we've got a little animal food. I was going to do groups of 4, but I'll do groups of 3 because I want to cover a lot of ground today. And if I need to, if I want to, when I come back here, say tomorrow, I could put another trap in here without a problem. Pretty hard to see a dog just coming through there, like enjoying himself going through that thick stuff. But here we've got cutting on the side of the hill. There's a cattle pad on it. But this is a good travel track. If one's going to be coming around the side of the hill, this is where they'll come. I think he's a Chinese bull, that one. One hung low. Hi, I'm just sitting back in the truck for a second in the shade, took to the landowner on the two-way, and he's got a cow up here that probably a bull jumped on it too hard, big bull, and broken like a stifle, broken in sort of in the hip area. The whole leg has caved in underneath her. This cow in a lot of pain, and he said best thing we do is shoot her. So I come up here and I shot her. There's a drag drop on top of the hill here, and I've cut a 3 legs off her and got it in the back of the truck and some skin. And I just snug her through the other side of the fence here because I've got a whole raft of heifers have come up here, and I was going to just leave her here where I shot her, but they just wreck every trap that I put in. So I've drug her through the fence, and hopefully there's not as many cattle in that paddock, or they're not up here anyway all the time. It's a big bush paddock, and it's right up on top of a hill here, so the smell from this thing will go everywhere. And I think I'll set 4 or 5 traps on this other side. But at the moment I'm just letting the sweat dry on me a little bit so that I don't drip sweat all over the place. Anyway, such is life, said Ned. I'll probably get struck off for this because it's too graphic, but it's not animal cruelty. It's just this is what happens out in the bush, and that's the thing that really drives me up the wall with the fact checkers and all the censorship people on these online shows. Okay, there's some lines that you just do not cross, and I agree with that. But when you're on the land and you're trying to live and make a living on the land, things are tough. And there's nothing here I'm showing that people don't see every day. And worse, it's just, this is reality, people. This is true reality. And this is one of the reasons why I've tried to get as many people as I could across to my Patreon channel, because I can put a lot more of this stuff on my Patreon without the censorship. Right, I've come along to a mud hole here, about, 300 metres away from where I put that cow. And I've got 2 lots of dog tracks there. Fresh too, or well, I'd say last night probably. Hard to say, that actually could be, it could actually be 3 or 4 dogs there. Right, we've come into a lovely little creek here that they only recently put a crossing across here with the dozer. And straight away, we don't even have to get out of the vehicle to see dog tracks everywhere. There's tracks everywhere. So this would be a good place to put a camera, put some, 3 or 4 traps here, I'd say, and set this up well. It's got a really good chance here. Well, good morning, everyone. This is heading out to check results of night 1. But it's a foggy old morning. Look at this. It's just solid white out. So should be a slow drive over to the first trap sets. I think I'll go right over to the northern end. I'll check the traps over there to see what's in them early on, and then I'll come back and I'll start setting up all this country around here. And I'll let the dogs out first. Moddy, Mossy's in season, and I've had her in with Chansey, and she wants nothing to do with that. She's not that type of girl. So, getting some puppies from young Mossy might be a difficult job. Get you? No. You're not. No. Not. Joe Biden, go sniff something else. Righto, well, the fog's cleared and it looks like a beautiful day ahead. Skies are blue. We'll just make our way over the last probably 10 kilometres here to the property. I think we've got 1 dog here this morning. I think we've got a really good chance of picking up a dog. Right, these are the 2 sets we put on the cattle track through here. Just looking from this distance, it looks, nothing. The big yellow dog here in the beans. I couldn't get a smack at him, it's too thick. He just got up the creek. Okay, that was a bit unfortunate. Just come along there and this big yellow dog is in the beans beside the road. I see him sort of jumping up as he went through it. I got one more glimpse of him as he went up the gully. Got the 223 out, everything, but no. Too thick, too much cover. So righto, what I'll do is I'll just try and bait these fellas up, feed them up, and we'll trap. It's just here. All I'll do is educate them if I try and shoot. So what I've done is I've dropped one of the legs out here off that cow I cut up yesterday. I'll drag it down to where the traps are down by the creek. I'll try and put a scent line right through here, so any dog that comes through here should visit those traps. And I think what I'll do is I'll set some back in the gully where I saw this dog as well. That could be their pass through. Alright, this is where that dog was back here. He ran through here, made his escape back up into the timber here. All good. He knows his way around this place. So what I've done is I've dragged the leg of that cow right up down to the creek sets, down there, past it, right down to the river itself, then back up through here, and I'll take it up to the next sets that are up in the gully up here. And so it's a good line all the way through. Now right here, this is his travel track. I've got two, one with bitch's urine on some of the beans, and the other one's got a little piece, like the shoulder blade of this leg is hidden in the grass there so the crows can't see it. Alright, well, we're going over this bit of cultivation here now. The guys were ripping it up yesterday. They had two dogs following them around. Heaps of tracks down the creek here, so there's 4 traps down here. I'm pretty confident we'll get a dog down here this morning. Well, looks quiet so far. Well, that's interesting, because I really did think this one would fire. Anyway, maybe tomorrow. 2 traps there intact. So are they. Okay, well, can't get them all first night. It wouldn't have been good to get one. Anyway, we've still got traps up the top here. Right, well, I've come up to the corner where in the last program I had a pack of dogs come past here. And I've not much sign here this time, but I've left a piece of meat here, and I've set 2 traps and a trail camera. What have we got? What have we got? Did they fall for it, or are they just still a little bit cunning? It's going to be interesting to see what that was. Looks like it could have been a dog. So we can flick the trap out. Hopefully the trail camera will tell us. Well, that's disappointing. I checked the trail camera there, and we've had a big dog come in round the sets. That is disappointing. That's super disappointing for me today. I needed one. Okay, come down to this next little black soil gully here, and I'll look for some sign. This looks like a place, if they're going to cross over, they'll cross here because it's pretty thick. Straight away, I can see a track from here. Right there. Oh gee, that's fresh. That's fresh. That's this morning. That is really fresh. Okay, this is a really good crossing. I reckon there was a dog here, probably heard us coming, because that mud is still stirred up there in the side of the creek. Okay, there's old tracks, there's fresh tracks, everything here. So I think I'll probably put like 3 traps here, I reckon. Probably one up over here, one in here, and one here somewhere, I reckon. That's not a bad little set there. I've got 3 traps and that leg of beef. I've put 2 in like as blinds, and then one with scat up a bit higher. So it's going to be just interesting to see what comes in here. The trail camera's up on the tree on the left-hand side. Hopefully the wind won't blow too much and get 1,000 pictures of nothing, but we'll see what happens. We've come across to the really sandy creeks. Sit, dog, sit. Let's see what we can see. Relatively fresh tracks. That's this morning, those ones. Looks like they're nearly jumping across the rocks. Look, 2 or 3 dogs, I reckon, coming through here. So, worth a couple of sets. One over on the bank over here, one this side. Probably one up further. Probably put 3 in here before dark and get out of here. The dogs seem to be all going down that side where they travel through. So I've put 2 on this side and 1 on the other. And I've used dominant dog, urine in one place, bitch in season. 2 here, 1 over there, fat on the last one, rancid fat on top of a rock. So pup, older dog, bitch, whatever comes here, there's something that would suit each one. Righto, here we are, starting morning of day 3, checking the results of night 2 trapping. I'll be very disappointed if we don't have 1 dog this morning, and it's highly likely we've got 2. But you never know in this game. You can do everything to the best of your ability and things don't fall. And then it can be out of the blue, they'll just start falling like 9 pins. So let's see. Right, we're rolling into the first part of the property now. We saw this big yellow dog here with a white collar. It's like a white round his neck here yesterday. I've got a really good feeling. I think we've got him. This is where I thought we'd get him, but obviously not. There's no sign of that dog having been back. There's no tracks on the road. Hasn't been around those traps. But we'll go over to the ones in the river now. There's just so much cover here now. The dog can be 20 metres, 10 metres off here and you won't see him. So we've just got to have patience and wait for them to come out to where we've got the sets. Right, we're over to the second part of the property. We'll go up to where the dead cow is first. Doesn't look really hopeful so far. Now, I've been told that there was a Hereford bull that died here a while back, a real old fella. And they took him down into the top of one of these paddocks. I just don't know where exactly it is. I think this is the right paddock. I found the bull. It's a bit rank, so we won't go right over to it. What I've done is I've come in off where the dog has been chewing on a hind leg there. I've come in, I've put a trap right in close to that log where the dog might stand, and just as a blind set. And over here on the top end of this log, there's a bit of the root is left there. I've put a chain in from underneath, hooked it down in behind and brought it round and put a trap just there. and some bitch's urine on the top of that as like a marking spot, thinking a dog might walk around here. Well, that's interesting. I just went down and changed the card in the trail camera so I can see what's actually happened here, whether anything's come past. But just looking at where my vehicle tracks were and everything like that, there's no tracks over the top of it. Interesting. Yeah, where are they? I just come through the creek here, right next to the homestead, and there's fresh tracks right here. So let's try one, say maybe on the corner of that bank. Might put another one over here. Right, you little pups. Let's mix it up a little bit. I think they're just following the creek down. Well, here we go again. Starting day 4. We're going to check night 3. I've just had a look at the trail cameras and I've got 3 dogs. 3 dogs that come around that cow carcass, but they've all just hawked off on the windward side where they can smell the beast, but they don't want to come in close. So I'm hoping that they'll get over that and they'll be back in there today. If not, I'm going to set some extra traps further out. Let's see if I can pick these guys up. But that's all the sign we've seen so far. So if I was going to say total numbers, I'd be saying at the moment under 10 dogs. Right, it strikes me that these dogs are very, very hawkish. Right, they won't commit to anything straight away. If there's any human scent on the ground, they won't go in. So it's going to take a little bit of time, I think. Now I don't want to scent it up because these dogs, by the trail camera, they're coming in, they're going, sort of staying way off the carcass. They haven't even come in for a feed. But they are going out there that extra 4 or 5 metres. So what I might do is just take another trap and put over there and just see. I don't like putting more scent on the ground, but I think I've got it. I think I'll put another trap over further. See what happens. Hang on, I think I've got a trap's missing. Yep, we got a dog somewhere. He's going down there. I can see where he's pulled the drag. Righto, at least we've got one somewhere here. Probably because the grass is so moist. And that he's got the drag on top of this grass and nothing's holding him up. I can see the track. There it is. Over here in the grass. Oh, that dog went a long way because probably he was wet and he was in the back foot. He got going and didn't stop. Big saddleback. Look at that. Only caught him. Only caught by 2 toes. 2 toes. And it's held him. It's held that dog. And he's come from up there where that big gum tree is, straight down. That's not a small drag. It's always good to get your first dog on the ground. That's checking night 3. And so 1 for 3. Slow going, but it'll start to change now. It's caught him by 2 pads. No damage, but just held him by those 2 pads. Nothing more. 2 claws, 2 pads. It's a big, fluffy, yeah, big saddleback boy. A lot of crossbred in that dog, and he's not young either. Big teeth. Yep.